one at a time is the best way to move forward so that our viewers can hear both sides of the story. But Sushant Sareen, two aspects here. One, perhaps you've got a glimpse of what we will hear in Parliament, battle lines very clearly drawn. But when leaders say that, where is the proof that Pakistanis were involved? This may well have been homegrown terror. Or when Imran Masood, so first Chidambaram and then Imran Masood of the Congress party, when he says were terrorists airlifted or airdropped, even if they came in from Pakistan, it shows our borders are weak. Is that in a way kosher charge being leveled at the government, or is there merit that it's giving Pakistan a clean sheet?
Look, there are different elements to the entire thing. There is a certain case that can be made that how come these terrorists have come despite the security grid around the border. But then, Gaurav, unlike most of the Indian MPs who never have bothered to go to the borders, never really bothered about national security in the way they should have. And even when they go for these conducted tours, they're given kid glove treatment and they don't see the hardships of the terrain along the border. And given the kind of LOC that we have with the Pakistanis, if some infiltration does take place, it cannot entirely be avoided. Okay, so there is an element of that which comes into play. But I think it's also a fair question to ask that how come there are these 4 perpetrators who've carried out such a heinous crime? Where the hell are they? Why haven't we got a fix? And again, there is a certain explanation for that, because the terrorists seem to have changed their tactics, the kind of equipment they are using. The Indian security forces haven't been able to, quite clearly, they haven't been able to get a fix on how to intercept those conversations, how to electronically monitor some of those conversations. And this is where the Chinese angle also comes in, because a lot of those services which they're using are the Chinese services and Chinese equipment. And we haven't been able to quite break through into that. So there is that lacuna which is there. Now, I would really wish, and I think it is important that the opposition parties raise serious questions, including, and I hope they pin this government down on the issue of, at one level, saying Operation Sindoor is in the pause mode. And because it's in the pause mode, we will go and hug the Pakistanis in Dubai. We gave up our rights to host a tournament in India. We are hosting it in Dubai so that the Pakistanis can come and play. If this is not surrender to the Pakistani Cricket Board by the superpower of cricket, which is BCCI, and the government turning a blind eye to it, then what is? So my point is that the Congress party or the opposition can pin the government on substantive issues. My other hope is that if they were, rather than create noise, if they were to come up with very sincere, honest, and even if those are very scathing observations on how we can improve our national security, I think the nation will gain from it. But if this is just going to be silly, petty, foolish point scoring for political purposes, then I think that the very purpose of this debate will be defeated. So I would hope that the opposition comes up. They should pin the government down on many things. They should ask questions of the government, but at the same time ensure that whatever they are doing is for the betterment of the country.
Absolutely.
Now, if you want, I'll just take half a minute. If you want to score points, look, as far as foreign policy is concerned, either you say that we will not act against any country until we develop an international consensus that we can go and act against that country. And unless we get permission from the powers that be, we never sought permission from America when we did Kargil, but we sought permission from the Americans and from the Pakistanis, I dare say, because that is what Khurshid Kasuri writes in his book, when 26/11 happened. Now, I don't think a country like India needs to take permission from any other country in the world before it acts to defend its own interests. So I think if there's a reasoned and a well-argued debate, we will all be the better for it. Otherwise, it's just noise in parliament, which is a normal thing.
Let's sincerely hope and pray it's not noise and there is an intense debate, because the nation must know what's happening when it comes to our national security, when it comes to Pakistan's state-sponsored radical Islamist terror, and India's strategy to deal with it. Yes, Operation Sindoor was an absolute game changer in the manner in which Pakistan was hit. But as Sushant Sareen very rightly points out, 2 months later, you're playing cricket with Pakistan, even if it's an international match. And when you are the host, you're playing it in the United Arab Emirates. Is that the way to deal with the state sponsor of radical Islamist terror?